Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some of you and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Let me thank S Jacques for coming through on the Cash App and for coming through in the email. I have a lot for which to thank him. And I recorded one of these already, but then he sent something else on the Cash App. So thank you again from the bottom of my black heart and from the depths of my black mind. And I hope that you're able to enjoy the interview regarding Saudi. There's more information about it, and Austin's interview actually got me on the path of learning a little bit more about it, but some of that was actually coincidental. I have found a source of information that I can't prove or disprove, so I'll look into it and see whatever I can confirm and update y'all accordingly, inshallah. Let me get right into why I opened this up to record this time. There are two links that Mr. Jacques sent me. And one of them is about Shaunie O'Neal Henderson, and another one is about Musty Red going to the doctor because her box is funky. Now, I know that you all know about this stuff, but I learned about these first through S Jacques. And shouts out to Senor Conga, who also sends me emails keeping me up to date. But I'm still going through all of them. I happened to get to these, and by the time I saw the second one, I knew that you all knew, but I can't say that I learned about these first from anyone else. I heard about them later on. There's something that both of them teach us because, you see, Shaunie O'Neal Henderson does not come across as being nearly as ratchet as Musty Red. And Musty Red makes a show of being ratchet. I feel bad for some of my students because they know what these things mean. Ratchet and down bad. And I have to tell them at times that this sort of thing, while it is funny in concept when you're telling stories, it has real consequences that really do mess up people's lives. And that they should never for 1 second think that this life is going to be more fun than being a Muslim. And that's beside the point. Notice, I didn't say being a Saudi or being an Arab. But in any case, there is something they have in common, despite the fact that one started a ratchet business venture, Basketball Wives, and the other one seems to be more of a product of that culture than its beginning. I read that Shaunie O'Neal Henderson was dating somebody else when she met Shaq, and actually met Shaq through the man whom she was dating, and that Shaq adopted her firstborn, which kind of makes sense because Shaq was raised by his stepdad. I'm going to tell you that Shaunie said she didn't love Shaq, and Shaq said that he was not lovable to begin with, and he didn't blame her. But what people don't realize is that she didn't say she fell out of love with him because of who he wound up being. That wasn't it. She never said that. She said she never loved him. She had no problem really with other women. She didn't love him to begin with. The issue was she still did not want that man finding satisfaction in other vaginas aside from her own. And that's the funniest thing about Western sisters. They don't really have to love you to not want you screwing someone else. They just don't want you to find satisfaction of your loins, be it illicit or legitimate, kosher or haram. I use kosher um, as a term that many of you would already know. That's why I say that. But they don't really particularly feel truly jealous. They just don't want you to have that because they feel like you should be with nobody. Now, you take Shaq, there's nothing genetically inferior about this man. I don't believe in genetic inferiority anyway, but there's nothing defective about him. He's got advantages, genetically speaking. He's got advantages. The issue is that she looked at herself and looked at him, and he's a black man. And she pretty much said, I've got to bring something to this man he doesn't like because I'm a black woman and he's a black man. And that's how I've been socialized. That's the culture. You can't just be out here making these N words too happy. And medium happy is too happy. We don't do that. That's not all. There's more. She also decided that when she did leave him, she was going to keep the name and she was going to continue to make money off of him after he was gone. Now, this man he's darn near a gynocrat goon. I mean, he has very gynocratic Negro ideas. He has and the funny thing is, when you cavort with a lot of women, that's one of the reasons why you would do it outside of a marriage contract. It's not just the testosterone. It's also that there's a part of you that feels like you need to be validated by these broads. Shaq did one thing, though, that he did two things he did that made her think he's inferior. Three. Number one, he was willing to be with somebody else's girl, to be with her. She doesn't care if she was that girl. Number two, he's a black man. And number three, he was willing to take on her firstborn from another man before he was a father. That right there is something that Nyla of Red Femme Diaries told Poor Man's Podcast that women have in them and they don't realize they have it, but they have it. It's an instinct they have and they don't turn it off. They don't try to turn it off and they just don't respect men that do that. You become a stepdad before you were dad. You're admitting the genetic inferiority as far as women are concerned. Nyla herself said it. She passed away. Of cancer, but she left these YouTube videos with some red pill content for her sons to be able to go back and review. So the women would never be able to deceive her sons. She was approaching a final illness and final death, and she decided to make that her legacy. That's not all, there's more. I want to tell you all something else. Musty Red put it out there that she's got a funky box. Even if it's just a recent development, she quickly went and got it taken care of. She's putting it out that she got a funky box. Do you know why that is? She is making herself into the kind of woman for which you can never respect a man for choosing her. She'll look at herself and she'll say, well, if a man chooses me, why should I respect him? Never mind that she's the woman he chose. That's the thing. That's actually one of their games. You know, when you're dealing with these Westernishas, white or black, but especially sisters, if you're a black man, it's heads, she wins, tails, you lose. Either way it goes, she wins, you lose. That's what that is. A rigged game. You cannot win. You can't even tie. You can't break even. That's why I love when BGS plays that song in the beginning. You can't win. You can't break even. But you can get out of the game. I'm changing those lyrics. So you get in way over your head and you only got yourself to blame. That's what the game is like. You can't get out of the game if you're going to tell them, but you can sneak out. Just walk off. And quiet as it's kept, California is already seeing something strange. Homeless people are saying in California that some of them turn up, some of the ones they know turn up missing from the encampments, and they're not moving away because they're not taking their stuff. They're just being carried off by predators. These predators are not always bears. Bears are generally afraid to go into human settlements. It's not always mountain lions and cougars. Sometimes it's something they cannot identify and looks like something out of a scary movie. And they're much more intelligent. This particular predator, according to descriptions, knows what weapons are when you point them at them. This is what the homeless are saying in California specifically. And as more and more women are winding up becoming homeless, predators do know the difference between the human genders. And they're going to start grabbing these women. And they're going to carry them off. And they're going to eat them. They're going to be one of the means by which nature becomes more aggressive towards human beings. And there is a verse in Book of Revelations that says that, I think it's in Revelations, it says that the beasts of the field shall lose their fear of man. I'm trying to remember where I read in our traditions that wild animal attacks would also be a sign of the end, the increase in them. I'm trying to remember. My memory of that is fuzzy. It may not have even been a sound hadith. But what I'm telling you is that they're doing this to themselves. But what they have in common is that when it comes to you, black men, they are actually starting off looking for reasons to not respect you, and they are bringing to you things that you don't want, and they're choosing things based on whether or not you want them. Actually, they're choosing things based on you not wanting them. They're choosing the BBLs. They're choosing how they're going to behave. The only thing about which they're confused is money and accomplishments. They tend to think that those things will impress you, so they put those up in your face, but they're doing that in order to say, because of these, you must tolerate these things from me you don't like. They're bringing these things to you because you don't like them. They're actively seeking your unhappiness. Outside of money and accomplishments, though, they are not confused about whether you like or don't like something. They're doing it because you don't. BBLs, they do it to get attention from low-grade dudes. But if you're a high-grade guy, they know you don't like it, and they're doing it because that way you have to tolerate and you got to settle. Wigs and weaves, same thing. Musty Red's hairstyle with the alternating white and red stripes in her weave. What is that about? You don't like that. But you're trained by the gynocracy to tolerate it and settle for it. That's why sisters can have the most craziest ostentatious styles and still find dudes. In other societies, they wouldn't. But you got to be well put together to qualify for the chick with a terrible sense of style. And in our culture, she's going to be seen as a trendsetter right off the bat, and you're just out of style. They're bringing to the table what you don't want, and they're looking for reasons to not respect you in order to do it. And then when they all get together and bring to the table what you don't want, and you think this is normal and you tolerate it, then they don't respect you for that, even though they deceived you. And they're exporting this to the continent. That's what they have in common. That's what Musty Red has in common with Shaunie O'Neal Henderson. Her current husband's a pastor, but look what he gets to choose. He doesn't get better options than that. That's the story of the black community. They get to be thoughts. And after they picked up these body counts, then you, the man of God, are supposed to wife them up. Devin Franklin, anyone, and what did it get him? And when Devin Franklin was single, you think sisters would be rushing to marry him, and they're not. Why the hell not? They're not rushing to marry him because he is, in fact, a man of God, and they're all sitting back and saying, no, if I can get anybody else, I will. When I can't, then I will take him, and even then they're gonna run. Now, I don't endorse his faith, and I've got my own religion, but what I am saying is that according to the women's own rules, his faith is not the problem. It's not because they disagree with his religion per se. They don't particularly care. They don't have one. It's the fact they disagree with him having a religion. He ain't no street dude. He's a church leader. And that alone makes them look at him with even less respect and say, nope, he needs to be stepdad, and that's it. Never having his own, he doesn't deserve that. Ew. Even if he is in shape, he's a pastor. He shouldn't procreate. He should raise my kids by Gloctavius. That's their idea. That's their notion. That's what this is about. And I'm telling you that you're going to see this with Sierra too. I mean, she's doing what she's doing probably to make money, draw attention to her, and then some brands and some other things that can make her some money. She's got some. Russell's was making money more than her, but I mean, she was still insistent upon doing certain things Russell didn't like. He doesn't have good options out there. Shaq doesn't have the option to be loved. Nobody really qualifies for that. I'm not saying that Shaq's adultery was okay. I'm not saying it was all right for him to be messing with her when she was with somebody else. But what I am saying is that these aren't the things that bother her about him. She simply does not think he deserves to be loved from jump. Doesn't matter what he's got going for him. None of that matters. Dre, now granted, for him to get with his wife, yeah, he did the same thing, dirty macking, got her to run off from her husband. He was a side dude. But that's not why she did what she did. What was wrong with the way that Tyrese got with Samantha? He still gets drugged through the court and all of this mess. And people didn't have the good sense to realize who she was and stop listening to her. Because their minds are made up. If you, being that black man, they're going to bring to the table what you don't like. It's different for a Wyatt. But the wide guy has to face his own women bringing to the table what he doesn't like. And he kind of expects that from the wide woman anyway, but he's not going to tolerate that from no sister. And eventually that sister's going to be the same sister to him that she was to you because she's used to it. And that's why they wind up injured or gone. Don Calypso did a good job of explaining that particular phenomenon to me. They cannot tolerate being treated like black men. It burns them the hell up. So when a white woman's doing this to them, that doesn't mean that they're being treated like a black man. But when a black woman comes out the box with all the stereotypes on him, that means he's being treated like a black man. He's not going to tolerate that, and he just snaps. Oh, hell no. Yeah, it's bad. It's messed up. But that's what they're doing. That's how they're sizing you up from jump. You can't win this contest. And that's why I tell some of you gentlemen, if you challenge dudes to a chick pulling contest, you're a damn fool. That's why I chastise some of you elders for doing stuff like that. What the wuck is wrong with you? Yeah, man, let's go to clubs so you get numbers, man, because you got a bad attitude. What the F, man? Don't you realize that the Westernisha is not worth the approach from the very beginning? If you win a chick pulling contest or a number getting contest, something's wrong with you. Or you're pretending that something is so that they'll want to be with you, because if you got your stuff together, they ain't gonna go for you unless they using you. Because they're that bad. And I'm not exonerating any of these dudes for doing what they've done wrong when they've actually done wrong. I'm not doing that. But the fact remains that these are not the reasons why the women are doing them wrong. They can't win. Tom Brady can't stop Gisele Bündchen from cheating on him with a personal trainer. Yeah, just as an example. But you brothers are the ones about whom I'm concerned, and you're getting that same treatment. And they're coming to you pretty much deciding there's absolutely no way that you should be happy at all from jump, ever. That's why they're making these decisions that they're making. And I stated before, and I'll remind you again, that the way you can know that this is how they think about you is when you knock her up or she wants to tell you you knocked her up. If you hear that news that you knocked her up, God forbid, and you're happy because you didn't think you were going to have kids, and then she keeps and delivers the baby, get a paternity test. Because sisters don't like having babies for men when and how men that want babies when they want them. That's not how they like to do it. You're looking forward to this. You didn't think this day was going to come. You're going to be a dad. Oh, ew. I done effed around and got pregnant for a loser. I'm deleting this. You don't want to keep the baby because you play a play and it's going to cramp your style. Now they're thinking, okay, I got the one that they want, so he's genetically viable. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this baby. It comes down to whatever you don't want. That's what they're going to do for you reproductively. Notice that. So if they seem to be going along with it, get the test done. And you really shouldn't be knocking them up no way. Because they're pretty much determining that all of you, I mean, they're not going to respect you if you become stepdad before you're a dad, but they're pretty much determining that almost all of us deserve to only be stepdads. That means they start off with the disrespect. You can't prove to them that you're worthy of their respect. Why the hell are you trying to learn game and frame to get it? She's taught not to respect you. Her friends make fun of her if she respects you and cherishes you. They think you don't deserve it. Truth be told, you really want to know the truth. Right now, at this point, tricking's wrong in my faith. But I tell you, getting involved with them can be a lot worse. It opens you up to so much worse and so much more harm because you don't know it's there. One is bad, the other's worse. And they're planning this from the very beginning. It's a conspiracy. They got their minds made up. Ninja, you ain't gonna never get out of that until you get out of there, or until you stay by yourself, or you stay by yourself just until you can get out of there, ideally. That's it. The good ones that do exist are staying indoors, which does make sense, but they're not coming out to get you like they should. And they know who you are. They understand men more than we understand them. They realize for the most part, they know who you are. The good ones that know how to behave and aren't trying to harm you still tend to find you unattractive because you're a good dude. Don't want to harm you, don't want to hurt you. It's not that, but even they don't really prefer you. They're good because they won't do you wrong. Not because they prefer you, though. That's part of the reason why you could be a good dude and you ain't finding good women. Shaunie just showed that. She just said it and tweeted about it, and Shaq missed the memo. She didn't say she fell out of love with you because of other women. She said she never did. Pay attention, black men. Hope that what I've said helps you. Thank you for listening. As always, black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, black, heterosexual, non-select male power because they don't like it, and black, patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. And of course, thank you for flying with us here on Jet Black Airways. And also, I would like for you all to thank S Jacques for sending me those. Gender justice forever.